Mark Warkentin, head coach, Santa Barbara Swim Club, 2008 Olympian. How are you doing today?
I'm doing quite well. I'm sitting in my office that I just got a couple of months ago. First time I've ever had a coaching swim office, so I'm actually feeling pretty good about it.
Well, Mark, you this is the club that you grew up with, as I know, and that you continued to train with after your time at USC, and you've really made a mark with the club and as an athlete in open water. How is your experience as an open water athlete helping you as a coach there at Santa Barbara Swim Club?
Probably the biggest thing is just the amount of yards or meters that I've swum in my life. I've just got a lot of miles that are logged, so I've got a lot of experience as a swimmer. I think one of the things I try to do as a coach is to think almost every day about how I would like to do a particular set as an athlete myself. And I think growing up in Santa Barbara, knowing the culture of the town helps me a lot. But definitely just having been a distance swimmer for so many years and swum so many miles probably helps me a lot as a coach. It gives me a lot of ideas to say, okay, would I have liked this set as a swimmer? So that's something that really guides me a lot as a coach now.
Well, as I've talked to you in the past and heard you speak to other groups, you've always had kind of an innovative training methodology. What kind of innovative things are you doing with your athletes there in Santa Barbara right now?
Actually, yesterday we did something that I picked up from watching a football practice. We did tug of war in the water. Person on person, just trying to pull the other person across the pool to the other side, tug of war. 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, matching people up, basically about the same size. And they liked it, and they were also exhausted from it afterwards. We did a circuit that included a bunch of different sprints and power racks and squat jumps and underwater dolphin kicking. So I try and mix it up every single week, and this week we added tug of war in the water, which was pretty exciting.
Well, yeah, again, that's the kind of innovation, I think, looking towards other sports and trying to see how it'll fit that, again, sets you apart and your program apart. Now, Mark, one of the things that is of particular interest is, from your perspective, how have you seen open water grow, and how do you now seeing it fit into age group programming throughout the United States?
Well, I think I got into open water as one of the first people to join open water after it was announced that it would be an Olympic sport. Up until I started swimming, the big race in open water swimming was the 25K. Most races were either from point A to point B, or they were around an island and you had a navigator. And a lot of times the races were determined by who had the best navigational skills from one spot to the next, and how good you were with your support crew in a kayak or in a boat. And that was how a lot of open water races were determined. I got into it right at the time when the 10K took over from the 25K as being the premier event. And so it was still kind of had the background of people from the 25K moving down to the 10K. Now we're in a world where kids are growing up thinking about the 10K as a legitimate race around a shorter course. Not shorter course, but a more compacted course. Obviously, the London course was much more compacted, and I think more and more in the future of open water swimming, you're going to see smaller and smaller courses where it's 5, 6, or 7 laps around a particular spot. And I think that's going to make it a lot more attractive for younger and younger people to get involved, because it's kind of a daunting task when you have to swim around an island or when you have to swim across a channel. But if we can make the races a little bit more compacted in a centralized location, I think we're going to see more and more activity from the younger age group.
Well, with that being said, now we have the Open Water Nationals coming up at Lake Castaic here in Southern California in May. Relative close proximity. Again, this is going to be about 6 laps, a little under 1,500 meters per lap. Do you have any athletes that you're going to be taking to this event? And will you be even taking kids as a support crew so they can get exposure to this high-level race?
I have a couple of kids that'll probably be participating in it. Right now, I'm focusing primarily on trying to get kids into college. My big push is having really good short course swimming so that the kids can pursue how they want to pursue their collegiate career. And that's something that I really try and focus on. And I also look at the personalities of each one of the kids. Having not known what it really takes to be an elite level open water swimmer, I'm not trying to push somebody into an open water swimming career unless they're really emotionally prepared for the amount of training that it takes. We do a lot of open water races in Santa Barbara. Every week there's a couple of open water races, and we'll do those for fun. But I think for serious 10K training, I really analyze the personality of the athlete and say, are you ready emotionally to handle the amount of training that goes into it? So I'm sort of supportive of it, but it's conditional to knowing that the athlete has the right frame of mind for what it is that it takes to be really good at it. I mean, I'm kind of different with my distance background. You'd think that I'd probably have a lot of kids swimming the mile at a lot of the general meets, but I haven't had a single swimmer swim the mile in my 3.5 years of coaching because I haven't found anybody yet that really wants to do the training for the mile. And I'm not going to encourage it until I find somebody that can legitimately put down the training to do it on a consistent basis that wants to. And that's the way I feel about open water. It's a fun activity to do. And I love open water races that are shorter, but I'm not going to put somebody through training for the 10K unless I feel like they can handle it emotionally.
Wow, that's pretty, for lack of a better term, mature insight from to be able to lend to it. I think your athletes are really fortunate to have that guidance, it's also a nice segue into a couple of things. Well, first of all, you are having tremendous success in the pool with your athletes. You had just told me a little while ago about one of your young athletes who just posted a phenomenal time in the 200 fly. Tell us about what your kids are up to in the pool.
Yeah, we just got back from a meet in Clovis where we had some very quick swims. Got a 15-year-old boy who is swimming the fastest times in the country for any butterflyer, 100 and 200 butterfly. He's number one in the country in both events. He's going to break the Southern California swimming record in the 200 butterfly next year. I'm pretty confident of it. He's less than a half a second off right now. We got a lot of kids doing well at a lot of different age groups. My primary focus is mainly 14 and up, and I think trying to get kids more attractive for college. The thing that I focus on is the NC2A schedule, and I tell them what event are you going to swim on the day one of NC2As and what event are you going to swim on day 2 and day 3, and that's how I set up my training program. Is everything is based on what are you going to be most attractive for to a college program. So it's I think we've really focused on good underwater kicking, and I'm really making an effort on doing good turns because I know I had terrible turns as a swimmer in college, which was why I probably wasn't better because I didn't have good turns. And I think that's something that I'm really trying to focus on right now so that they can excel as college swimmers.
Well, it certainly is an exciting time to have that focus, and if that's the overarching philosophy and mentality you're preaching to your kids, I'm sure all their eyes are trained on the what's happening right now at Division Twos, as well as what's going to be happening in a couple weeks in Division Ones.
We're going to do an open water camp here in the summer, trying to get kids more excited about open water swimming just across the country. Santa Barbara Swim Club's putting on an open water camp where we're going to host there'll be 4 races over the summer, over a week-long period, and I'm going to just teach kids that are actually passionate about open water swimming how they can be the best, and teach them some of the stuff that I learned. Because not only am I a Santa Barbara Swim Club coach, but I'm trying to make America better as an open water country, so that we can get more people on the medal podium. So hopefully there's a future Olympian out there that wants to learn a little bit about open water swimming.
It's really great to see somebody giving back to the sport like you, Coach, and I appreciate talking to you.
Thanks a lot.